welcome back to my studio. This is Emma on another fine spring day here. We've had stormy weather over the last couple of days, so I'm hoping that maybe by the time you come to watch this, maybe the sun will be back out again and maybe the temperature will have risen just a little bit, because it has been a bit what they call brassic around here. It's been a bit cold, so never mind. It means I'm spending more time in my studio and less time sort of faffing about in the garden, which is probably a good thing because I have got lots to do down here. Last week, I hope you enjoyed my little sketchbook playing with paint and paper. Honestly, it's so much fun, and now I have got a lovely pile of pages. When I was a student many years ago doing my degree in an arty subject, I used to look at other people's sketchbooks and think, oh, how do they do that? That looks so good. And it's taken me years to get to a place where actually I realise that what I do is personal to me and it works fine and it's great, and if it works for you, that's all you need. You know, I think so often we look at other people's stuff and think, oh, I wish I was doing that, and actually we forget that we're brilliant ourselves and whatever we're doing is right for us, and you know, it's our creativity, it's our way of doing stuff. So my playing with paint and paper may not be what you want to do, but I find that creates me a bit of space just to play with some stuff, and it helps feed into what I'm doing. It gets my creative juices going, it gets me out of my head into my hands, and I just love it. I don't know about you, but I've loved the sea colours that have just come out. So I did promise you I'd show you my new sketchbook. Now, okay, it did look really nice when I bought it. It looked like that with a nice back on it. I chose this purple colour because I just thought, well, it's not blue, but I quite like that it could be in the mix of bluey, purpley colours in the sea. I've been very reckless. I've taken it to bits. I actually take off the back and the front. I'm going to make that the back of the book. So that's going to go underneath like that. And I'm currently stitching and playing around with the front cover for the book, which I will show you. I've got some samples ready to stitch in, and I've just been inspired. I even got my box of shells out last week, and I was kind of putting these in the mix with my pages. So even though I may not use these directly, it all adds, as I say, into the creative process. I would like to perhaps do some printmaking from these kind of shapes and shells. There's some gorgeous, you know, when you're getting gorgeous textures and colours like that, I think that could be some playing around with some mark making and fiddling about generally as I feel my way into what this is going to be. It's not directly what I want to be doing, but as I say, it's feeding my juices. So I hope it's, you know, giving you something to perhaps inspire you as well. It's not fabric and thread necessarily, but there will be fabric and thread in this video. I do promise there's going to be some stitching. I've done some nice embellished samples and things, and I just would like to show you those as well. But I also want to talk you through how to put your sketchbook together in case this is what you'd like to do as well. So I think I better stop talking and get doing some stuff. Okay, so I just thought I'd just show you how I go about playing with a page and putting things in. So this is a page that I've stuck down two colours of tissue paper, a turquoisey and a blue, and I kind of then swash some a wash of paint over, so it's really quite nice. It's blended it quite nicely. The other side's just got a pattern on the back, which I'm not too concerned about. So this is my favourite side, and I've got these various bits and pieces that I was thinking I might add in to the mix. As I say, I'm going to try. I've got these two little samples here. So they're quite different. That one's got the turquoisey colours going on, and this has got some darker colours and some green. So they're quite different, but I like the fact that they're two similar sizes, so they could both go on this page together. But I'm just going to have a little play. I've got some, I kind of fancy putting some of this lace on. This is a piece of lace that I've put a bit of paint onto, so it's made it stiffer. I think I might turn that over that way so it's a bit different shaped. I've also got different bits of print. This piece has got some writing about being by the sea. It's just something I've torn out of a magazine. I do like print. I do like print and lettering with when I'm putting things together. It's quite nice to have the contrast with fabrics and stuff. So you see that could perhaps go on there. And I've got this little piece down here, but you see that makes that a little bit squashed. I've also got a little piece of net. Got this little piece of dress weight net that I kind of fancied putting on as well. So let's just see what this looks like. So it's a bit like arranging your fabrics when you're actually doing the stitching. So when I've arranged all these fabrics on here, it's very similar when I'm playing in my sketchbook. I'm just looking and I'm feeling, and when it feels right, I just know that it suits me and it makes me feel happy inside. So I think these two are really rather different. So I'm going to just try and see whether this feels better with just the single similar shading to this one. I don't know why, it just feels like it might be a nice thing to do. If I put the net on top of there, and I'll put that on there. So I quite like that, but maybe there's something missing from down here. So the other thing I've got here, what I really love is the newspaper. When I've done my painting of the pages, I get these lovely bits of newspaper, and I just get a ruler and I tear the edges. And you can put them upside down. I quite like them upside down so you can't actually read them, or you can do them sideways. So then I could put that on top of that with the net, and the writing could go a bit further up. I want things to be a little bit offset. You see, something like that might work. And then possibly I've also got this is just some sort of planking. It looks like planking. That I picked out of a magazine again. It's just, this is really, honestly, it's just, what does your eye like? What does your eye see? What feels good to you when you put the things together? And sometimes it's the daftest things that you put together and you just go, oh yes, that really, that makes me feel really happy. That really sings. I mean, you could be doing things sideways, crisscross. Do I put that on top of that one? Do I put this on top of that? It's like, okay. So I quite like the way that now draws a line all the way down. It's got a sort of strength to it, and it could be some sort of structure on the beach. It could be a beach hut reference. And by the time I've stitched all these down, all these different elements down, some of them I'll glue. I'll always glue the paper down because that holds it while I stitch it. It's actually a little mini work of art really, but it's just fun. It's just fun to do. So I quite like that as a composition. I think I might leave it at that. So that's just showing you how I kind of go about playing in my pages, and I'll put the whole thing together as far as I've got, and then I will show you it all. Okay, so let's get this first bit stitched down. Obviously you could be stitching this down with your proper foot on, but I think I like it with free machine embroidery because it's a bit wonky. So I've added a little bit of lace onto here now because that looks good. And I'm going to actually stitch over the paper as well. So this is getting a second line onto there. And what I want to do is I want ends. So we shall just snap that off there. I like to have little threads dangling. I don't know why, it just makes me happy. And it's all about not having control over things so much. Much better. Much better. So I'm building up the layers. I'm not going to stitch this bit anymore. I'm just going to put the next bit on top of this. Okay, so the next bit to put on here is I've got a little bit of net. I don't know if you can see that. There we go, bit of net. And I've got my little tiny sample here. And I want to get this in such a place that the net sort of overlaps everything. I'm just got to get it all lined up. Make sure my presser foot is down. Okay, so I'm very happy this afternoon. I've managed to kind of pull my sketchbook together. It's not finished. I don't think a sketchbook is ever finished because you can always go back and tweak it and fiddle with it. So this is my lovely cover that I've created. I had a bit of old calico that somebody stitched into. I think it might have been somebody on one of my workshops, and the stitching went all loopy, and I painted it a while ago. And then I've got another bit of fabric here that's painted, and I printed sea change on it because this is what the sketchbook's been called, and it's got lace and bits of scrim with painted newspaper underneath. And as I showed you in my last video, I take off the cover front and back, so the back has got the purple on the back there. So I'm just going to show you through it just roughly because, as I say, it's work in progress. It's always nice when it's getting to this stage and I can see where it's going, and more importantly it's about feeling my way into what it is I want to be doing. So as I say, my project is called Sea Change because it's about the sea change in my life, and it's going to be about recreating something or moving a piece on that I've already started a number of years ago. So I've just been playing around with creating samples and pages. I've got some lovely textures going on, some lovely colours. I've got some more writing to do. I can add bits in where there's blank pages, but sometimes less is more. This is quite a complex page over here. Again, magazine pictures are quite useful just to pop in, and you can layer things up with different fabrics. If you find images that you really like, that inspire you, perhaps with colours that you like, then you can mix and match those in with samples, which is what I've done here. Not terribly happy with this page yet. I think it needs something over here, but I think when I get a bit of sampling done on for this one, just snip that, I think that will bring the two pages together. It's a bit bitty at the moment. This page has got a dark green sort of sample, dark greens and blues, which is kind of the colours I originally used and the piece that I'm going to be working with. And then I've written some words down, ideas, new thoughts. And if you write it, the lovely thing is if you write it on something like tracing paper, that becomes another layer. So you could hide other things underneath. It means I don't have to hide this lovely paint splashed page. And but it gives it just a different feeling. It's rather nice. This page hasn't got this sewn in yet, but it will. I think I'm going to sew that onto there. But I was kind of waiting to see if I was going to put anything on that page. So it's got some nice colours going on, and then this is a little drawing that I've done of some ideas and things I'm going to put together. And I don't mind if I stitch from one side and then I stitch from the other side. I don't mind if the stitching shows through. It's got to be loose. My sketchbook is a very loose thing. It's very flexible. So this is a nice bit with some newspaper painted and then some net on top underneath the sample that I made. And then again I've done some writing over here, and I think that's nice because that really personalizes it. It's a lovely book to put ideas into and thoughts and collect it all together. It helps you process things. It processes your ideas. This was a page I didn't really like, but I've stuck a bit of magazine picture on again and a bit of lace. And then what happens is when I pull this over the top, I get some words, and they've got sort of, it knocks this page back a little bit, but it's got this sense of texture. I do like a bit of texture, as you will know. So that's got lots of words about possibilities that I'm working with. This page has got a lovely picture of a lady called Debbie Mason. Sorry, Debbie, if that's you out there, but I took this picture out of my Country Living magazine because I really liked it. I love her work. She does printmaking around the subject of what's in the sea, crabs and all manner of fish life. And then I've added bits on, painted lace and cardboard and her name because I think that's important. But I just loved what she was wearing, and I love her paint spattered apron. I mean, how inspiring is that? So she's got pride of place in my book, even though she doesn't know it. And then again, this page, I love the back of this because it's got stitching on, and then it's got a sample over here which is kind of reflecting off the colours in the background, so that might have something I add into it, or I may paint on top of it. This was the little piece that I showed you, it's me stitching it in. I've actually turned it around. It was the other way up, that was going down the other side, but I turned it upside down. to put it in with this, and I rather like that, so I might put a bit of writing on this side. And this is the sample. This is the one that kind of started it all off, because this is when I started sticking tissue paper into the pages, and that's what got me going. And at the back I've got more pages to stick into. I've still got a nice pile of bits of printed paper, printed newspaper. I've got painted lace, I've got tissue paper, I've got waxed paper, all sorts of layering that I can put into the mix. I kind of want to do some soluble fabric next, I think, playing with that. But really, I'm just very happy with this. It's really been a joy to do, and it's going to take me forward into my project. So I do hope you've enjoyed having a little flick through with me. I know you can't actually feel it, but there's some lovely textures here. And it's been lovely to have you with me on this journey, and we'll just see where it goes next. So thanks ever so much for joining me here. Thank you for subscribing. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Don't forget to do that. That's really helpful. And I will see you next time in my studio. Have a lovely creative week. Bye for now.